Recently, I've fallen head over heels in love with a skin tint, which very rarely happens for me. However, my new ride or die skin tint, the IT Cosmetics Sheer Tint Face Balm, is 92% skincare. It is seriously lightweight on the skin. It doesn't feel like a skin tint. It doesn't feel like makeup at all. It just feels like skincare. And it lasts for a considerable amount of time for this type of product. It looks like my skin, only a better version. However, there is a but. Have I found a dupe for this that is cheaper to buy than this one? L'Oréal have brought out a different product to rival the IT Cosmetics Do It All Balm, and it's much harder pressed. It's a slightly different formula. I'm going to go through all the differences, all the similarities, and which one I prefer, and give you my final thoughts, obviously at the end, because they're final thoughts. So let's get on with it. Now, like I said, there are similarities, but there are also differences. Regardless, I do think you'd be hard pushed to tell either of these skin tints apart. I do have the IT Cosmetics on one half and the L'Oréal on the other. Please pick your favourite depending on what you're most looking for. Do let me know in the comment section which side you prefer, because that will make all of the difference, and there isn't that much between them. So let's delve a little bit deeper. Firstly, let's talk about the IT Cosmetics Do It All Sheer Tint Face Balm. This will cost you £29 in the UK. You get 15 shades of the product. I've gone for the shade Fair Cool 125. What I will say about these shades, I think the cool shades are more neutral. The neutral shades are slightly warmer, slightly too warm for me. They go a little yellowy, go a little orange, and I did not like that whatsoever. So the warm is seriously warm. The neutrals are on the warm end, and the cool tones are more neutral. So if you are seriously cool toned, I'm just keeping all my fingers crossed that you will be able to find a shade that is pink enough for you, because the cool tones are more neutral in my opinion. This is 92% skincare. It's got lots of peptides in there and hyaluronic acid. It feels superb on the skin, very much like skincare. It's going to give you light to medium coverage with a radiant finish, and it's alcohol-free and fragrance-free. This is really creamy in texture, and it's a really lightweight texture as well. There is a bit of a tacky finish after you've finished applying. Even when it's dried down, you don't have to apply powder if you don't want to, but I like to apply powder just to dim that tackiness down a little bit, but also add a bit of longevity onto this skin tint. This is the new L'Oréal Tinted Balm. It costs £18.99, so around about £10 less than the IT Cosmetics. It comes in 12 shades, so slightly less than the IT Cosmetics, but both shade ranges are very, very adaptable. I've gone for the shade 2.5 Neutral. However, I can also get away with the shade 1. Instead of 92% skincare, this has 80% skincare within the formula. Now, it's a lot less complex than the IT Cosmetics. So this is much more sophisticated skincare where you've got peptides in there and you've got hyaluronic acid. You don't have peptides within this formula, so even though it's 80% skincare, it's going to do less for your skin. It's not going to have that plumping, smoothing, and give you as many skincare benefits as the IT Cosmetics, but it is a really nice formula all the same. This is going to give you a light to medium coverage, very similar coverage to the IT Cosmetics. Again, a radiant finish, same. The L'Oréal is alcohol-free, but it does contain a fragrance, unlike the IT Cosmetics. Now, I don't think the fragrance is anything to write home about. I don't really notice it, if I'm being quite honest. However, if you are sensitive to fragrances in products, if you have really sensitive skin, then the IT Cosmetics may be the only one that you will be interested in. Once again, there is a slight tacky feeling on the skin once this has been applied. Again, you don't need to powder this in place, but I prefer prefer that to take off a little bit of the shine, but also take off a bit of that tackiness and increase the longevity of the foundation. So let's talk consistency and texture, because this is where these two products really differ, with the IT Cosmetics being really lightweight, really creamy, very much like a moisturizer. The L'Oréal Tinted Balm is a much stiffer consistency and it's more emollient, so it feels a little bit heavier on the skin. Now, I'm making that sound like this is a super heavy formula. It's definitely not. It still feels like skincare on the skin, but a slightly heavier version of skincare. It is not completely weightless like the IT Cosmetics. Both formulas apply beautifully. There's very little difference in how they apply. I apply them in exactly the same way, using exactly the same method, and get a very similar result. You wouldn't really notice the differences, even though I feel like the L'Oreal is slightly shinier because of that really emollient texture than the IT Cosmetics. The IT Cosmetics sinks into the skin a little bit quicker, whereas the L'Oreal takes a little bit longer to dry down. Both of these formulas, once applied, I think they look like skin. I think they look very natural. They lend themselves beautifully to a no makeup day. You can apply both of these underneath your eyes if you choose to do so, and use them as a concealer as well as a skin tint. Because of the amount of skincare that's in these, I think it's very kind underneath the eyes, which a lot of other products I can't do that with, whereas I can do it with both of these. I actually think that the IT Cosmetics looks a little bit more natural than the L'Oreal, and the reason I say that is, for me, the L'Oreal, because of its thicker, more emollient formula, has a little bit more coverage. Now, you can sheer it out, but applying them in exactly the same way, you do get a little bit more payoff on the coverage with the L'Oreal than you do with the IT Cosmetics in just one pass. Because of that, the L'Oreal for me, and also for my husband Wes, he actually noticed this himself. He thought the L'Oreal looked smoother, more airbrushed, just looked more perfected than the more natural IT Cosmetics side. So it did take a lot of scrutinizing, but when he first saw me on the day that I was first wearing these side by side, he said how much he really liked my makeup that day and it looked really beautiful. I told him that each side had a different skin tint on it and he picked his favorite, and his favorite was the L'Oreal for those reasons. So yeah, I like both of these. I do think they both have a place in the top drawer. I do think the L'Oreal is slightly glowier, slightly more radiant because of the coverage aspect rather than the IT Cosmetics, but I do like them both. So both of these wear incredibly well. They're not supposed to last for 24 hours. That's not what this product is built for. However, for a product of this ilk, they both last a considerable amount of time. And I would say from morning all the way through a busy work day, these will stand the test of time. So I was really impressed, considering that both of these have such high volumes of skincare in there, and usually I'm not a massive fan of a makeup product with lots of skincare in, because I have my own very well-rounded skincare routine that I refuse to compromise on, and I have to apply all of those products in the morning and in the evening. I don't want a product that is a makeup product essentially to be put on my skin and then to just melt off and to essentially disappear quite rapidly throughout the day. I don't get that with either of these formulas. They are perfection on my skin and last all day. So let's go through the sums. The IT Cosmetics is £29. £10 cheaper is the L'Oreal. However, you only get 8 grams of the L'Oreal, whereas you get 18 grams of the IT Cosmetics, making gram for gram the IT Cosmetics £1.61 per gram and the L'Oreal £2.37 per gram. So gram for gram, the L'Oreal is more expensive than the IT Cosmetics. However, I use a lot more of the IT Cosmetics. I seem to go through this a lot faster. I think it's because it's a much creamier formula. It's very, very hydrating. It's really, really lightweight, very cooling on the skin. So it's a slightly more watery consistency, and I pick up more on my brush and spread it around my face. I seem to use less for a full face of the L'Oréal, with it being really hard pressed and slightly less of a lightweight creamy formula. I will say that I think even though you're getting less for your money per gram over here, I do think the L'Oréal will last as long as the IT Cosmetics with just how you apply it. So really, what I need you to do, if you are after a new skin tint and you like the way that both of these looks, but you do have a favorite, go for your favorite. That's what I would say. Go for your favorite. Because, I mean, I like both of these. They have very similar wear times. They are both beautiful on my skin. Shinier than I would usually go for. I go for something more of a natural matte usually, but it's very difficult to get a natural matte in a skin tint, and I do think these look like my skin, only better. So either of these, perfect for me. Which one is your favorite? Which one would you be enticed to buy more than the other one, given the difference in cost, but also given the difference in weights? So do let me know. I would love to have your comments in the comment section and see where everyone lies. Has anybody tried the new L'Oreal? Have you compared it to the IT Cosmetics? Have you tried both? Do put your thoughts and feelings and your experiences in the comment section, just to let everybody know what you've found is different with each formula and which one you prefer. Do add your age in that comment and your skin type, just so it gives people more of a well-rounded overview of what works for what sort of person. I like both of these, and I can't really give you much more than that. My husband prefers the L'Oreal. That is this side. I'm not quite sure which one I prefer. I like them both. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you've thought about it in the comments section. Also, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and give this video a share before you leave. Hope to see you all in the next video. Bye everyone.